And he stands directly behind me, grabs the back of my pants, and
having kids at my age is kind of like getting a DUI just as you pull into your driveway.
If you parented during the pandemic, shake your antidepressants. You guys have my show.
Have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another edition of the Parents' Lounge. That's how I feel. I feel like, I don't know if you watch the House of Dragons, but I feel like the dudes who got fed to the crab feeders lately.
Oh, okay.
Has anyone watched House of Dragons yet?
I've started with the first episode, but no, I have not caught up.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but there's a character named the Crab Feeder. I think you can guess what he does to his victims.
That was my username on a dating site for a while.
Set up. There we go. You know, it's funny, dude. We're all back in school, and I think we were all like, oh my gosh, thank God we're back in school, which, by the way, thank God we're back in school. But the morning was absolute mayhem to get them to school.
Yeah.
And I picked them up. Hannah had a dermatologist appointment, and then she had she's taking an improv class at 4:30, and then she goes to swim at 7. I'm like, every morning I wake up, I'm like, wait, so what's on the agenda today? It's almost like it's busier than summer.
There should not be activities during the school year. Like that's what I've come to. You should only have activities when I'm not trying to make you dinner. Oh, yep, Joey Steelers. That was too easy for Jason.
I tried to set him up. Hey, Mulligan, we got to put some pictures of you in the opening song, and
I would argue that we should just make it all pictures of her. And
honestly, I feel like Mulligan. And we have to change the lyrics because it says
hit me in the nuts so bad.
I got hit in the nuts so bad.
Listen, tits.
I don't think it applies.
Honestly, I love a pair of harem pants, like those sort of drop crotch baggy harem pants. Like it's my staple. Sure. And people are always like, oh, those are cool. I'm like, it's for my nutsack. So people legitimately are like, huh.
Well, you kind of opened with a joke that would allude to that.
Yeah. Got them nuts.
Kate, can I tell you, my mom, there's zero filter in the woman, said to me, she asked me, she said, now this Mulligan lady, she's coming to the comedy show. And I said, yes. And she goes, will she be wearing that same outfit that she wore to Flappers? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. She was very concerned it was making the trip. I'm not sure why, or why she cares, but clearly affected her on a carnal level.
Listen, I mean, it was great comedy for everybody but me. So, you guys are hoping that I wear an outfit you can call a couch again. You got a lot of laughs at my expense that day.
You made the joke before we did.
I did. I said if I was dressed as if I said nobody else followed the dress code if the tiki room was a mechanic. Yeah.
Well, isn't that rule one of life? If you know there's something that's wrong with you, then mention it first and foremost.
Yeah. I will tell you one of the proudest moments of my life. We were walking by. We just had the book fair at my son's school, and so my son Neil's walking by. He's the one with alopecia, and he goes. He points at a book. He goes, "Offense taken." And I look, and it was a book called Hair Love. And I was like, I'm in love with you. That's such a good bit. Such a good bit.
He's a funny kid. He's a really funny kid.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But also you take the bullet away from anybody. Because if you're shooting it at yourself, then nobody's gonna you just completely de-weaponize everyone around you. If you're gonna be,
Well, that's the Roy.
Looked like a
Roy
giant baby. I survived on that very technique.
Well, that's the Roy Cohn school of lawyering too. Like, right? Do you know who Roy Cohn is from the 80s?
Well, I know him mainly from as a character in Angels in America.
He is, and that's right. He's a character in Angels. He was a very famous lawyer
in the miniseries.
Who, by the way, you like went after gay people. Vehemently was so anti-gay, and guess what? Turns out thou doth protest too much.
Yeah, come on.
But that was his rule of thumb, which has been adopted. He was Trump's lawyer in the day in New York, and that's where. But it's kind of a brilliant. If you're ever doing anything wrong, anything, and I probably this is like the cat's out of the bag, because everybody knows this now. That if you're doing anything wrong, the first thing you should do is say someone else is doing it. The same thing. Like if I robbed a gas station, they'd be like, "Did you know Jason robbed a gas station?" And then he'd be like, "What are you talking about? Jamie robbed the gas station." I'd be like, "Well, of course he's gonna say that." That's like it's like whoever strikes first wins. It's such a brilliant. You're like, it's so frustrating when somebody does that to you.
It's such a simplistic grade school technique too, but it is effective.
Yeah. You go like, "Well, that guy's gay." And you're like, and then the guy goes, "Well, no, he's gay." And you're like, "Okay, you smarty pants."
Listen, guys, today's topic is Roy Cohn. Send in your questions about Roy Cohn.
Roy Cohn. There's a great documentary called Citizen Cohn. Go watch it. Anyway, this week I have been. You ever ponder when my daughter was born?
Yes.
I was immediately I'm just going to treat her like an adult. I'm going to talk to her in full sentence. I'm not going to goo ga her. I'm going to talk to her in like I normally would. But what I forgot is that I, as a comic and a very sarcastic human being, talked to her like a smartass, which I didn't realize. But it's not. I wasn't doing it deliberately. It's just that I talk to everybody like I'm a smartass, and so
I've never noticed.
I've created a tad of a Frankenstein monster in a way.
Yeah. Were you like when your baby was born? You're like, I'm gonna talk to this baby like she's the real piece that she is. Like, was that the goal? Was to really just degrade her?
No,
that's not how you cold open the baby.
And I will tell you, Hannah, right out of the chute, spoke very clearly, very well, huge sentences right out of the chute. She spoke very early, and I took pride in it in some weird way of see, I was right. I spoke to her like an adult. Claire didn't. I spoke to her like an adult too, and she took her sweet time, kind of getting it. But Claire is the sweetest, not sarcastic human being on earth. And Hannah is literally the biggest smartass who's ever lived. And it's reared its ugly head at times where I'm like, "Hey, dude, you can't do that." So
I've seen the Frankenstein movie, Jamie. You know how that ends for the creator, right? You know how that's coming for you.
It ends horribly for everybody.
Also, I just keep hearing in my head the 80s commercial. I learned it by watching you, Dad.
I totally forgot about that.
I swear that's what she's gonna say to you one day. She's gonna have like a really great dig on somebody, and then she's gonna be like, "Hey," you're gonna be like, "Hey, where are you getting this from? I learned it from watching you, Dad." Okay.
Well, I've told this before, but the guy across the street one time when she was like 5 was like, "Hey, Hannah, how are you doing these days?" And she was like, "Wouldn't you like to know?" And I started rolling laughing. Everyone else in the neighborhood who was standing around there was like, and then I had to have a chat with her and go like, "Hey, listen, by the way, super funny.
Great
Not gonna lie to
delivery.
you.
Yeah.
It's really, especially from a 5-year-old,
Yeah.
gold. Like
it's
solid
great.
in gold.
Hannah has great timing. She's
Great timing.
really, really good with timing.
Great timing. And yeah, but it's, you know, from a child, it can have a it's like the bad seed. When you're like this is going south. So we're having long conversations. Like we had 5 girls sleep over on
Yeah, I was
Saturday
gonna ask.
night.
Yeah,
And is she in fact the sassiest of all of them?
She is, but here's what I also learned. That and no names. I always was like, oh my gosh, out of the whole group, she's got to be the biggest, you know, pain in the ass, biggest jackass, biggest smart ass. No, not so much. They all were horrific. Like it was, I was driving, so I put all 5 of them in my car because we have a 3rd row, and then my wife went in the other car with Claire, and so I had all 5 girls and myself in the car. They were screaming. It was almost like they were deliberately trying to make me crash.
Wait, what were they screaming? Where were you going?
Oh, they were. I let Hannah play music, and she played this song. I farted on the bus. I farted on the bus over and over again. And then,
meanwhile, kids in LA are all like, "What's a bus?"
Yeah, exactly.
What's a bus?
I farted on the cars my dad drove me to school. That's what it should have been called. And then there was another song called "It's a Cat Flushing a Toilet." It's a cat flushing a toilet. It's a cat meow flushing a toilet. It's a cat meow flushing a toilet. It's a cat. So it's going like that, and they are they're screaming. To the point where, I mean, I have a pounding headache. They're screaming like a foot behind my head, like high pitched, as loud as they can. I pull over. I go, "Hey, you know, you're trying to make me." In a way, they weren't even trying to make me crash. I was like, "I'm going to crash. I can't take this another second." At one point, and I will never tell which child it was, one of the kids reached her foot up and kicked me in the face from the back seat. While I was driving 40 miles an hour on the road, one of the kids thought it was funny if she put her foot up and kind of hit the side of my face. Yeah.
She's okay. So here's the deal.
And it wasn't, by the way, that wasn't Hannah.
Okay. In the defense of the children, they are used to their elderly grandparents. So they thought they had to scream around you. They thought you wouldn't be able to hear them otherwise. In the girls' defense.
Okay, really quick. So 7:13.
Like, are they kicking
really
grandma
quick.
upside the head? Poor Nana.
Jason, really quick. I just want to mark down the time. 7:13 was the first old man joke. Okay. I was wondering when it was going to come in.
I was first, guys. I was first. Thank you.
13 minutes. I got it. Poorly executed
for her.
Really poorly executed.
Oh, you dragged it out. It was a grandpa.
I think it's good because I'll tell you why. You thought I was saying something real because I actually was dragging it out. Anyway, it's been
the
fun
logic was convoluted. They're used to their grandparents, so they had the whole. No, I give
guys,
that one
in the chat, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed that or not.
Yeah,
okay?
Was that joke any good? Or let's just say, I don't think it's going to make it to the Sayer show.
Oh, boom!
Narcolepsy says.
You know what? Narcolepsy is killing it. By the way, Narcolepsy A+. Miss Mulligan, C+. I'll give you. I mean, listen, it was a joke. It wasn't as hurtful. It's okay. I'll give you a C+ on that one. 7:30. You can do better though. You got a lot of time left in this show. You can do better.
I just can't wait to have it analyzed because nothing keeps the momentum of a show going more than stopping and analyzing a person's joke. So I can't wait to make the next one.
Okay, so that joke right there
wasn't a joke.
Oh, please. It was an attempt. Jason, was that an attempt at a joke?
It was a sad attempt, but
It was like
I did
backhanded
seem
attempt.
it.
I'd
Yeah.
give that one like a D. Like, yeah, you're moving on to the next grade, but you're not.
Look at narcolepsy's got my back.
Nonsense. She teed it up, man. Girl sleepover's the best and the worst.
I'm starting to think
Thank you,
narcolepsy's
narcolepsy.
Kate on the second feed.
I honestly starting to think that narcolepsy is Kate's husband, Dickie. So let's all.
Oh, that could be.
Well, then who's putting my children to bed right now, y'all?
So-
From the sounds of it, a few minutes ago, nobody.
James just
Hannah's,
putting-
Hannah's sleepover party was supposed to be the week before, but Hannah had the flu. So did her sister. So that lasted for about a week.
And I don't
then-
understand where you guys were driving to. If they were sleeping over at your house, why were you guys in the car?
Oh, we had to go out to. Oh, they wanted to, my wife decided to take them out to dinner.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where did you go?
Oh, so here's where we went. We were going to Benihana.
Oh, you told me this.
So it's Hannah's birthday, and
That's actually a lot
for
of
some
fun.
reason it became a birthday Benihana. It was a celebration of Benihana.
Oh, that's actually really okay. I'm into it. I'm into it.
That joke's not bad. I give myself an A- on that one.
So how many of you were there total?
It was cute. It wasn't a joke. It was cute. It was sweet. Benihana is cute. It's not. There's no joke there. I would say
No,
D-.
well,
Now
maybe-
who's stopping to analyze the joke? Jesus.
Pun, maybe
Listen,
pun.
I learned from the best. I learned from the best.
Did you?
I learned from the best to analyze the jokes. You too.
So anyway, we go to Benihana here in Los Angeles in Encino, and we go to Benihana, and I mean, just getting from the car to Benihana, it's 105 degrees, right? It was crazy hot.
It's not a good time here these days.
Yeah. So we go into Benihana. We walk inside. Inside, about 115, and it's still pretty crowded. And I'm like, what's happening here? And I talked to the bartender, who, by the way, looks like somebody threw a bucket of water in his face. And I go, hey, is the AC broken? He goes, yeah, AC's broken, but it's not that bad. And I was like, okay. And then the manager walked by. I go, dude, is the AC broken? He's like, yeah, we have an emergency call out to somebody. But it's no big deal because in Benihana, they just light a giant fire in front of you. So, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I immediately am like, wow, we're not eating here. We're leaving. We're leaving Benihana.
Yeah.
And poor Hannah was like, that was the first. That was actually, she cried for a little bit, but she took it pretty well because she likes ramen even. Here's the thing about Benihana. Kids won't even eat it. They love the show, and then it's super expensive. And then you take all this stuff home, sits in your fridge for like a week, and then you throw it out. It's crazy expensive. And I
James
can only
actually will eat it. He really likes the rice and chicken, so we actually do okay with it.
We don't. It's horrible for us. So we go ramen. So we go to this other place, Umagami, which was pretty good. I like them. We go there a lot. And but it's kind of blazing hot in that place too. And we all sit around and I got dragon something lemonade. Very, very good. And then one by one, the kids started, like, I could see it. The giant lemonades were right in front of them. And I go, well, that's going over. That one's going to go over. That one's going to go over. I mean, within seconds, the first one smashed, gone. Second one, smash, gone.
Oh, they never grow out of this, huh?
Yeah. Then my wife's like, well, Menchie's is right down the street, so we'll walk to Menchie's. So we go to walk to Menchie's, and it's a little further than she thought it was, about a half mile down the road. And so we're walking with like 6 kids down Ventura Boulevard with like half mile. So then we get to Menchie's, and obviously I don't want the kids to have to walk back. So I have to walk back, get one car, drive it to Menchie's, get out of that car, walk back again, get the other car, and bring that down to Menchie's. And then we came home. It was like 12:30. They didn't go to sleep. I like 10:30. I'm kind of asleep as they wake me up.
Sorry. I'm not following, or you're doing a bad job telling the story. Who's to say which one it is? You got home from Menchie's at 12:30 in the morning?
No. We got home.
Okay, okay, great.
No,
They were still up at 12:30.
Okay,
yeah, no, and then they started watching TV and movies, and then
okay.
There's 5 kids, and
Yeah,
we laid out like 2 mattresses in the living room next to the couch.
Was Claire allowed to join them or no?
Claire was, and there was a long conversation to be had by you will include your sister. Why? She doesn't. She brings everything down.
Yeah.
I don't want her here. She's here. She's going to be part of it. And so it's funny because then I talked to the other girls when we were on the car, and I go, girls, can you try to include Claire? And they're like, oh, we always do. It's only Hannah who tries to get rid of her. threw her under the bus.
Oh, shady.
So then we got up, and then they also woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Oh, and by the way, my wife had the flu over the weekend, like emergency room flu. So it's been good times, man.
When
Good
you
times.
say
I
emergency,
was surprised to hear from you at that early in the morning. You texted me. I'm like, why is he awake?
Yeah.
And
I got up and had to make breakfast. And so I sliced a bunch of mangoes, trying to be a
Ooh.
healthy dad. And not one of them liked mangoes.
yes,
So
okay, there
I
it
ate
is.
mangoes for the next 3 days. And then
probably should have gauged that out ahead of
I
time.
made them cinnamon rolls. Maybe, Jason. You know what? I'll get on that, you ass. So it's been, it's been I don't know. I don't think mine's any crazier than you guys. It's so funny because I talked to Jason, and Jason's his stuff's way worse than mine is.
Oh, I mean, we had a real parenting disaster weekend ourselves. But real quick question: when you just very like casually breezed by, my wife's in the emergency room with the flu, and then you just moved on to the next thing. Is she okay?
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna live. She's been pretty sick for a few days that she got from the kids, and so it's funny too because I was like, look, I don't want to get sick, Kate. I have a gig. I have a road gig this weekend, and I was like, I don't want to get sick. And normally she'll stay away from me, but over the last 2 days, she's like, wherever I go, she like just comes and sits next to me, and I'm like, are you trying to get? And I'll get up and walk away. Like I'm trying to not get the flu. When the kids had the flu, I wore a mask. I stayed away from. I was like, guys, I don't want the flu. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
I've had it before. I didn't enjoy it. I don't want it. And so we're debating whether I'm going to get it or not. It's still in the air.
What was the incubation period between them to her?
I don't know. It feels honestly the last 10 days feels like about 3 years. So I have no concept of time anymore.
I really hope. Yeah,
sometime in September, right? Is it September yet?
it
is. Yes.
Wake me up when
I was working. That we didn't do the show last week. I did. I was shooting for like 10 days on Tacoma FD, and that was really hard because she was working too, and the kids were kind of sick, and we were trying to. And then so after we got our reward was that we got to host 5 little girls at the house over the weekend.
Seems like an appropriate award.
Honestly. This is how crazy it was. I bought the movie Super Pets. That's when you know you're like, I've given up. That's when you know it's over.
You're trying a little too hard. Yeah.
Well, they're no dummies. The math is insane. They go to rent. They go, Jamie, you could rent this movie for $20, $19.99. You can rent it for 48 hours.
Yes.
But for an extra $5, you can own it.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're like, well, I mean, I guess I'm pot committed. Should I just buy it? So I bought it for $24.99.
Yep.
Did they like it?
They did. They did. I mean, they watched it 3 times, and we own it. So now,
oh, then I mean, that $10 a pop divided by kids, that's $5 a movie. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
We're doing screenings. I'm just doing screenings out of the house every couple hours. I open the door, I charge admission, and I let kids in, and we're watching. They watch it at the house. So, and I'll be doing that for the next 3 years. I'm going to get my money's back on this thing.
At Mulligan's recommendation, I took Jace to see Marcel the Shell this weekend. It was fantastic.
Isn't it just the actual best movie you ever saw in your whole life?
I was so emotionally moved by a tiny shell.
I know. Kaylor, did you see it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God!
I remember when the trailer came out. I posted the trailer like a year ago.
You're gonna cry.
Oh, dude, please. I cry at Lowe's commercials. You know that.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually want to see it so badly. Maybe I'll take the kids, but now I heard it's amazing.
It's also just like very when movies that don't have to, like, it could have just been funny things like, do you know what I use as a hat? It could have just been that the whole time and it would have still been good, but they decided to like actually infuse it with like humanity and actual real scenarios from Jenny Slate and Dean Fleischer Camp's relationship. I don't know. It was just, it's a lovely, great movie.
Yeah.
You had told me that beforehand, but I now get it.
Yeah.
Thinking back, you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember crying at the trailer like a year ago. I cried at the trailer when it first came out. I think I shared it when it first came out onto the Parents Lounge page because I was so moved by the trailer alone. I really want to go see it.
Have I been here a year yet?
You're close.
I'm
You're,
close,
you're
right?
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, any regrets?
Please, this
Only every
is
day.
like a Stockholm syndrome where we slowly bring you in and then you just take the. Honestly, at this point, just take it. Just
No.
do something with it.
As Jason says, the week he misses is a week we all miss. Can you imagine you and I being like, I'm gonna make a link. Where do you post it? I don't know, but I made it. Do you think the people can
I
find us?
told you. He told me, like his arms went numb recently. He had some heart issues.
Dude, I've been with him just one trip and he had 2 heart attacks while I was with him. Like, it's
That's
not
true.
normal.
One of which was at Disney World, caused by too much honey.
But it's funny because all we could think about was like, damn, man. I was like, yes, I was worried about him, but I was also like,
We gotta get this.
we need to get the passwords, dude. We gotta get the passwords to
Wow. Thanks, ass bags. I hate both of you.
Listen,
Okay,
hey,
that
man.
was an A+ joke, y'all. That was an A+ joke.
That's true. I was talking to Mulligan, and we were talking about you, and I was like, God damn, man, that guy. I mean, I worry about it. I really worry about him. And then I was like, and also, I worry about those passwords to get those passwords. You know what's funny? It made me think about my spouse, like Kate the other night when she had the flu. She
His
was
spouse,
like,
Kate, not this Kate.
my spouse, Kate. We were talking, and she's like, well, at least she'll be taken care of. And she was listing all the insurance through her company that I would get. And I so jokingly, I was like, well, hold on. How much was that one? So the companies were, do we have any other life insurance on you? And so the math would be, oh, all right. That's not, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. With her. And then part of me was like, do you guys have, we really have to have Bob Wheeler, that my friend, the accountant / comic.
Oh yeah, he's gotta come on.
Because, dude, if something, God forbid, did happen, do you guys have like a safe box with all the information in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, oh my God, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
What's in it?
We literally just went through it. It's all the social security cards, passwords, and to everything that you possibly could need, like all the insurance policies, all the insurance, or like deeds to the house, like all of that stuff is in one place.
Mine's like the actual real jewelry I have, birth certificates, passports, cash and small bills, because the apocalypse coming, honey. And
yeah, by the way, when the apocalypse comes, I'm sure cash currency is going to be really worth it. What are you, crazy? You know, it's going to be worth stuff like
when the internet's down. Literally, cash is going to be the only thing that you can trade in.
Water.
When there's no internet.
Water and
water.
Well,
and guns. A gun is going to be gold at that point.
That's a separate safe.
If you have a golden gun, like the Bond movie, like a man with a golden gun, that guy is going to be the richest man on earth.
Our neighbors across the street are retired sheriffs, and they have an entire section of their shed that is, we call the arsenal. And it's just like, we know where to go. We're heading right there. They've got a chicken we can eat. They've got everything we need.
Oh, they also, you know what else they have they're going to eat, Mulligan? You know what else besides that? That chicken, do you know how coyotes hunt?
No.
They send one coyote down that's in heat, and that coyote brings all the dogs in, and then they attack the dogs. That chicken is to lure you and your husband and your children across the street into the shed of doom. And then they're going to eat you, dude. Do you not see these apocalyptic, the road?
Know. I should stop letting them babysit my children for free when I need somebody.
They're watching you, and over the last couple of years, you keep saying, "Oh man, I'm having some problems. I put on a pound or two." We're all like, "Oh, that sucks." Those people are like, "You're doing fine, kiddo." Hey, here's this butter soap that I think you should try to put on. You smell delicious, though, my friend.
They tell her it's some sort of skin lotion, and it's really just Italian dressing that she's been rubbing.
The guy's whipping it up. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I made you some conditioner. What's in it? A little garlic, some olive oil, a little butter, a little cayenne pepper, just a touch,
just a touch."
Just slow roasted mulligan. I guess that's the way.
I gotta tell you. Just my stomach alone, you could eat for days.
That's haggis.
Just that fat belly pouch. You could eat for 7 people could eat off of it for days. You guys, the labia alone is like
Okay.
Too far.
Okay.
Too soon.
No.
you literally brought it up. No,
I didn't bring that part up.
Now you said it was the first part of my set. Ugh.
But I didn't say it.
Also,
I didn't
why
say
is
the word.
the name of a female anatomy a swear word, Jamie? It's not.
It's a terrible word. By the way, this is horrible, but I really want to see that Army Hammer documentary about the fact that he's a cannibal. But it's on Discovery Plus, which I don't think I have.
Wait, what?
Army Hammer, the good-looking dude, the Lone Ranger,
Eats people?
apparently. Do you know, Jason, what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Google Army Hammer cannibal. There's a whole thing. He's
What?
I don't know what's happening. I gotta see the documentary. There's a documentary about it.
I need to fact check this because it doesn't sound right.
I
to me.
can't listen. Who's watching this? Listen, everybody, Narcolepsy knows. Narcolepsy 27 knows what's happening. All right, there's a whole documentary about Army Hammer being a cannibal.
It says answered after all your Army Hammer questions answered after the Discovery Plus documentary House of Hammer.
He apparently is quoted in the documentary as saying, he said to me he wants to break my rib and barbecue and eat it. Okay, so Kaler is apparently correct.
And that's not just like a fun foreplay.
I don't know if you know much about
him. It is a
cannibalism, but
foreplay. I think
foreplay is not how I would take it.
Maureen knows. Brent says too much information.
That was about me, I think. Sorry, Brent.
Oh, I think that was the labia business.
I mean, it stinks too because the whole, in the Social Network, both Army Hammers were really good in that. Man, he was really good.
I'm starting to believe you can't be a great actor unless you are some sort of psycho or sociopath. Like we're just seeing that it's just a bunch of crazy, insane people that are like, we're like, wow, what an amazing performance as Hannibal Lecter. Turns out, like we're gonna find, I don't know, like it just seems like there's always something like the Shia LaBeouf stuff. Like I don't know, it's just like the Ezra Miller. He's such a good actor.
He is so good.
What a psycho!
Seriously, I mean, The Flash was one of the best things in the Justice League. He's really good.
He's really good.
The whole time you're like, man, that guy's really funny, and then you go, oh, he's crazy. Yeah, I know.
Okay, he's crazy. He's crazy.
You know what's funny? This past week, so Hannah did a Tacoma FD episode. I told you guys that whole story.
Mm-hmm.
She did one, whatever. So, but she's never acted. She'll not act, and I'm kind of poo-pooing the whole business, but she likes it. She did the school play or whatever. So we put her in an improv class, and the other day she talked, and I don't think this is unique to her. I think it's this generation where they're like, she talked about fame, and she's like, she wanted to be famous. And I was like, I said something like, be careful, Theo, be careful what you wish for, because you want just enough fame.
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I'd like a little bit more, but I don't want to be there. I never enjoyed that. I don't like eating in restaurants or something and having people come up and go, oh, well, hey, man. I don't love that.
I'm not trying to be shady at all, but I believe you're probably at the level like where people think you're someone else.
They don't know where they know me from.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Or they're like, did we go to college together? And
They do that.
Nah, man.
But it's gone both ways. Sometimes it's from the other day. Somebody, she knew me from, she goes, Will and Grace. And I go, wow, dude, really? And she was like, yeah, Will and Grace. And I go, yep. But I had it one time where someone was like, I know you from somewhere, man. I know you. And I was like, she's like, you an actor? And I go, I am. And then they start to make you list credits. You're like, well, I did this, and I did this, and I was on this, so I did this.
They're like, no, that's not it. What else? That's not it.
Yep.
No.
And she goes, no. And she goes, oh, wait, did you used to bartend at O'Brien's? And I go, yeah, I did. That was me.
That's hilarious.
You seem like you were really well known for that. Like really well known for that.
I waited on a lot of people over those years.
I mean, not quite My Boys, but it's up there.
Actually, it might have had higher ratings than My Boys. I'm not sure at that time. I don't know. But she wanted to be famous, and I'd seen something in the paper the other day about Kim Kardashian always gets that question. Like, what is your talent? Like they always ask her that.
Yeah.
And I used to kind of resent the fact that she was famous for being famous, I guess. But in a way, and she says something, she goes, well, I'm really good at business and marketing. And I go, you really are. You're really, really good at it. Yeah. So it is I used to kind of resent people who were just famous without a skill. And I still see it a lot of times with influencers and stuff where you're like, I'm sorry, what do you do again? But that's the skill, I guess. And so
Yeah, but also it's not their, I don't know. I sort of feel like it's society's issue, not theirs. Like we should not be putting any sort of value on. Why is there an echo? I don't want to hear.
I don't hear you echo at all.
I don't hear you echo.
In your head. It's just in your head, Mulligan.
But I just feel like we should, as a society, be like, that is not talent. I am not going to, but like, that's just not what we're doing. We're embracing these people, or we are part of the machine that's making them famous, and
Yeah.
And I cannot blame anybody for capitalizing on the fact that you got a stupid society that's like, yeah, listen, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah's here.
Sarah.
It is crazy that that's the world we live in. And it's funny too, because here's the problem is I think you can see it in actors a lot of times. It's like people who are a little off kilter. Like we never watched the guy who's just a boring guy, who's a normal dude, who's cool and whatever. There's something askew about a lot of people. Like Christopher Walken's a fantastic actor, but he definitely, there's an odd cadence. It's not normal what he does. Yeah. And it's so magnetic, you cannot take your eyes off it.
Yep.
And we keep, regaling these people who are influencers, but in a way, it's because we're drawn to them, because I think that there's something wrong. There's something wrong with them, and it's showing because these people it's ending badly. It's ending really. If I turn on like Deadline another day where it's like this influencer's dead. You're like, yeah.
Is that happening a lot? Like, I'm so out of it.
I don't know. I see it all. But I mean, there's so many influencers. I don't even know who they are. But it's like so and so.
It might be the normal ratio of death. But there's just so many of them.
Yeah, I don't know. But she said
anybody can call themselves an influencer. Whether or not they actually are influencing anything remain to be seen.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, influencers may be not the right word. Maybe the word is spectacle or something where it's
that feels more right.
So Jamie, when you have
in a lot of ways is the American dream. Like kids want to be famous, but you're like, I never really wanted to be. I just wanted to be famous enough to do what I wanted to do, which was perform, I think, and act and do comedy. But
see, that's what I wanted to do.
I never even wanted to be. I always I don't even stay backstage before the show. I usually go out and chat with people and then go up and But watching all these people, like I watched. Did you see Elvis, the movie?
No.
Premiered on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Kind of liked it, but I'm a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah.
And I always felt like nobody in their time was ever more famous than Elvis Presley.
Mm.
I mean, he was the most famous person on earth, I think, at that time. He was the first rock and roll star. Like, what happened to him is 42 died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Hey, I made it farther than he did.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, but he kind of was so original and unique, and he was that famous.
There's a lot of people that didn't get the passwords from Elvis before he went. I'll tell you that right now. They did not see that coming.
And everybody knows it's peanut butter and banana sandwich. Everyone knows that's the password.
That's the password. PBJ.
Also, you have the password. It's the same for all of our stuff.
Yeah. You know what's funny? The other night we had one of the kids also had her iPad with her. This is 4th grade. And
one of your daughter's friends
had an iPad with her, which is normal. She didn't have a phone. She had an iPad. But with that iPad, she was texting, because you can message on your iPad, which I had. I was like, oh, yeah. She was texting some of the boys from class.
At 9?
4th grade. Yeah. And I was kind of freaked. We were all freaked out. We're like, I'm sorry, what? But we didn't know. But you have the messaging app on your iPad.
Yeah.
You can I could message people from my computer here to their phone. So, yeah, or to their iPad or to anywhere.
Wasn't that happening with pictures with your daughter's iPad to yours? It was like syncing them together, Jamie?
Yeah, because her iPad's on, because she doesn't have her own account.
Right.
I wanted to watch her account, so I put her account on my account. So her iPad and my phone and my computer are all basically on the same Apple ID. So
go ahead, give it a grade.
He was there at Elvis's. Oh, Maureen, that's a good one. That was good. All right, not bad, not bad. I think narcolepsy still has it. So you still
Yeah,
have it.
I mean that's
number two.
narcolepsy is
Mulligan's joke is still way low.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
But there has to be some kind of app or something. Honestly, I'm not terrible with computers and phones. My wife's probably less skilled at it than I am. She's okay at it. But we're not. These kids are growing up exponentially smarter than we are about these things. I heard they were even using. There's apps that you don't even know there's a messaging part of the app, right? I can't name one. Maybe somebody in the audience can name something.
Oh, like the way that this is a
Yeah,
terrible
like
example.
something where like Yelp,
there's
something you can message people.
There's like Facebook Messenger.
Yes,
or
well,
there's-
Facebook
yeah.
definitely, but there's ones where you'd be like, "I'm sorry, what?" Like Sonos or something weird where you're like that you can message and send photos to each other.
Yeah. Do
You
any of
can
your kids have Osmo?
We have Osmo.
Not-
Do you have one?
Yeah.
What is Osmo?
It's like it's actually really cool. There's different versions of it, but you get this like little reflective mirror that you put on top of your tablet, and then it can do like wait, there's a calculator one that I thought this was a joke about 80085.
I thought she was saying boobs. There's a calculator one that is actually hidden messages like boobs.
Boobs. Oh yeah, WhatsApp.
Unless honestly, no, I think Jen's telling the truth that
That's crazy.
they're putting messaging systems to
Yeah.
connect people over apps where you're like, why would the Nordstrom's app connect me to some, but there are. And
Right.
so kids are smart enough that they're using that so that the same way we kind of did stuff with our parents, I guess. I don't know.
What did we do with our parents?
I don't
Haley?
know.
It's like Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park. Life will find a way.
Life will find a way.
Chaos. You know what's funny? I had read Jurassic. By the way, I haven't seen it yet, but it's made $1 billion. This is how stupid the world is, right? I've heard the newest Jurassic Park is one of the worst films that's ever made. Has anybody seen the new Jurassic?
No.
Story wise, there is nothing there.
Yeah, I heard that it was panned. It was widely panned, but I didn't know it was one of the worst. Yeah.
Made $1 billion. It's made $1 billion around the world.
Whoa.
But she's like for Jace, he doesn't care about the story. He just wants to watch dinosaurs fly.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think that's
Did they make up a dinosaur like they did in the last one?
Oh, absolutely.
Dominus. Okay, cool. It's a raptor meets a T-Rex meets a diplodocus meets a pterodactyl. We call it a smackdle. I mean, it's the dumbest plot.
Oh, is that? I wondered.
Smackdle is not terribly terrifying.
The giant whale was not a real dinosaur.
I don't.
No, the mosasaur is a thing.
But no,
What about the Dominus?
The Indominus Rex
was
is
the male.
It's not right. Okay,
Yeah.
the whole time.
and the one before that, the Indoraptor, also not a thing.
Also,
I was like,
raptors are not actually raptors. Raptors were tiny little bird-like creatures. Raptors, like what they portray as a raptor, is actually not a velociraptor. I learned this at the. Did you guys do that drive-through during the pandemic, the dino exhibit?
Oh yes,
I didn't do it.
That's where I learned that. Anyway, I forget what those are called, but it's not a raptor. Anyway, derp. Can we talk about Big Brother for a half a second, because something happened with parenting? Speaking of eyes are everywhere, or life will find a way. We had an incident with friends this weekend where we went over. My girlfriend said, "Would you guys want to come over and do night swimming with us some night? It's actually too hot to go swimming during the day." And I was like, "Great." So we went over, and my 7-year-old and her 7-year-old are in the same class. And then I have a 4-year-old and she has a 3-year-old. So they were all playing and everything was going fine. And then at the end of the night, the adults are talking. My girlfriend goes in and James like hits the deck. And I don't see it, but like he apparently, my friend's son, Neil's age, shoved James and he fell and like hit a wrought iron fence. And then the dad, Dickie had seen this. The dad says to his son, he's like, "Did you push him?" And he goes, "No." And then then my husband doesn't say anything. He's just like, "Okay, like, well, let's get going." And like, I'm now managing 3 very upset people in a car who are like, my boys are like, "He pushed me." And why did he say he didn't? And then my son's like, "Yeah, why did he lie?" And then my husband's like, "No, he definitely pushed him. I saw it." And so I was like, okay, I'll get to the bottom of this. So I text my friend and I'm like, listen, I don't feel like it's, everybody's upset. Apparently when you were inside, I didn't see it, but apparently James got shoved. And I just wanted you to know, because it's not fair for us to be upset about something that you don't even know about. But just so you know. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Whatever. And then I realize I get a call. Like the next morning I wake up and I see a message from her at midnight saying, are you up? And I was like, no, I wasn't. And so I called her that morning and she's like, I forgot when Simon, her husband, got home. She's like, he said, we have tape. We have the tape of it. And so they went back and played the security footage. And my son, James, attacked the 7-year-old, goes up to him like, and the 7-year-old shoved him. So he did lie by saying he didn't. But nobody's as big of a liar as my kid is. So we now know we have the tape. We've now seen it. My husband's like, we can't tell. He's like, we can't tell them that we have a tape. I'm like, of course we can. They need to know that someone's always watching. So we asked my son, my 4-year-old son, point blank, like, what happened before you got pushed? And he was like, nothing. I don't really remember. And then we're like, there's a videotape. He's like, so I was doing this, like he knew exactly. But we had to have like, first of all, I was so horrified that my friend, when she's like, oh, we have the tape, she wasn't even like, I think it's a little bit different than what you've been told. She was like, it just seems like they were roughhousing. She never said like James attacked, but like, so she was being really cool about it. But I was so horrified that I was like, your kid, and I just wanted to let you know because everybody here is upset. And like Dickie and I watch it, we're like, oh, our kid got exactly what he was supposed to get. Like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So anyway, but it's like, it is wild to be like, can we go to the tape?
Wait a minute. Is that a saying I'm supposed to be familiar with?
Yeah.
Play
stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Win stupid prizes. Yeah. You've never heard it?
Never. But I've only been on Earth 100 years.
Yeah. Oh, you get an A for that one. That was a good one.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, play stupid. I mean, the other one has a series of swears in it, so I will not say that one, but
okay.
It's F around and find out is the other one, the other version of that.
It is so funny. It's so, I mean, that's so, and by the way, please, for the love of God, you need to write that down because that could be a super funny bit on stage. That's really funny.
It was honestly, we were so
such
upset
a funny
that
bit.
he lied. And
to be like, your son, I don't want to be a jerk, but your son pushed my son into a great fence. And then to have the woman go, I don't know if you know this. We have the tape.
Can we roll the tape out?
Roll the tape. And you're like, humming. Yeah. My bad. My bad.
We ended up saying we have to just imagine that everywhere you go, you're being taped. And whenever somebody asks you to tell a story, even if you haven't been taped, think, is what I'm saying, would it be corroborated by the tape of this if there was a tape? That's how you know you're lying or not. I mean, it was
my Ring camera corroborates a lot of my stories.
Yeah, exactly.
It also we've used that same thing with Jace where like he'll unwarrantedly attack the twins and then they start crying and then you ask him what happens and he said he doesn't know and I'm like, let's review the tape, and then he starts spilling he will tell you everything that happened.
Dude, that should be a t-shirt. Let's roll the tape.
Tape.
Really funny. Let's roll the tape. Every parent, every day. You're like, oh, dude.
We have like just the doorbell. I don't have, I mean, well, come rob me, people. I just have a doorbell camera. Do you guys have cameras everywhere?
Just put them up last weekend.
Well, that's right. I talked to you while you were putting them up.
I just put them up last weekend. Yeah, I put them up.
It's wild.
And I get an alert every 3 seconds of like, hey, something's walking by your house. Hey,
how long did it take you to put up the cameras? Did you talk to both of us on the phone?
Yeah.
Listen, here's how I do it. I didn't sit down and go, all right, cameras are going up. I charged them. It was a 3-day process over 3 days. I put one up. I sat back and felt good about putting that one up. I did some other stuff. Then I said, well, let's get number 2. And then,
Oh my God.
but I haven't. But I guess I could theoretically aim it where my children are.
Ours are at all the entrances, and they just happen to do a lot of their stuff at the
In there.
entrances to our
But you have
house.
one of
Also
your
one in your
kitchen,
kitchen.
I've seen your
Yeah.
kitchen one.
The kitchen one goes straight to that door coming in.
Oh, okay. That's
So
Ah.
everyone faces an entrance or an exit from the house.
Okay.
Nice.
Like there's none in there's none in their bedrooms or
Well,
anything.
people had that too. Actually, I'll put money on it right now. Kayla's wife made them have the video monitors when they were babies.
Oh,
On the
90%.
crib?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
ADT alarm on the house.
Okay.
And
Well,
we
that's
had,
normal, by the
we had
way.
a nanny, so we had video cameras in the house.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we had video
Did
cameras.
she know that she was being videotaped?
She did, and we told
Yeah.
her, and I mean, obviously, we put him in the important places, bathrooms,
Yes.
places where you would change.
Wait a minute.
know,
Wait.
stuff
Sorry.
like
Go
that.
back. Wait. Sorry. Go back. It sounded like sorry. It
All
sounded
right.
like you were. Well, no. Sorry, it just that it sounds like you were being a voyeur on your nanny. Did she? You were saying where she would get changed and in the bathroom or the important?
Yeah,
place?
because that's where people would steal stuff, and so what you want to do is anywhere that's private, like
Oh, I think
showers.
they're
We had a
doing
lot of
crimes.
times we had them in the shower.
In the shower. In the shower.
Yeah, we put cameras up in the showers, the bathroom, multi cameras in the bathroom, low angle,
no.
high angle.
No.
Because if you're gonna sneak something in and put it into your clothes, you're gonna do it in the bathroom. So we always try to cover the
Kid, I'm
bathroom.
not wrong. That we're hearing crime, right? Like this
Well,
is
this is a
shower.
felony. It's a
Right.
felony. That's a felony. You've got a felony.
Okay.
Also, I wasn't sure. Sometimes she would talk to the neighbors, so I snuck in and I put some cameras in the neighbors' houses and
Okay.
in their
I would say-
bathrooms,
I
mostly
know.
in their
Well,
bathrooms.
well, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to stop going live now because the feds are coming for Kaylor. Dude, I could do this bit the rest of the day.
The
Keep
kids'
going,
bedroom,
Kaylor.
the kids' bedroom, and the living room. That was it.
No, that's not. Well, I remember I remember like watching an Oprah show when I was a kid that was like, just if you're going to have nanny cams, tell the nanny the cams are there because they're definitely going to behave them. Like it doesn't matter. Like the goal
In
is not to-
retrospect, we didn't even have to. I would say, don't even get cameras. Just tell them there's cameras,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's the same result because
Yes,
nobody's
that's true.
crazy enough.
Our
Although-
sitters know.
Although people are crazy enough because you see the footage on Fox News or CNN or something every day where it's like, well, this nanny went too far.
Right. Right.
There's a camera on you, you idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna very soon be seeing like something on the news that's like this 4-year-old had a bigger kid, beat him up, and then complained and sued in court when he got shoved down. Like this is the problem with these cameras everywhere. Is like
So putting the Nest cameras up, you actually have to go through these steps or whatever. And one of the steps is this big thing you have to read. It says, I agree. And I'm like, why am I agreeing? It's my camera. I can do whatever I want with it. And then after I read it, I was like, it kind of says, I will not put this in a place that is inappropriate. Like it lists
wow.
things where you're like, and you're like, oh, that's right. There's creepy people out there who are going to use this for nefarious situations.
That happened here in our area. Somebody who ran a local tanning salon had installed cameras inside the thing and then finally got busted.
Dude, how many times? Every time I go into a hotel and I'm like in the shower and I look up at the vent and I'm like, wait, is that a red light? Like, don't you guys do that? I'm like, wait, is that a red light in the grate?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask
And
something.
then I hold my junk up like a fruit cup and just go, enjoy.
Oh wow, it can go chest high. You can just
Yeah, well,
chest
Also,
high.
fruit cup was interesting.
Yeah.
fruit cup. Well, it's a banana and 2 strawberries. What, you don't know what kind of fruit cup you got?
Well,
It's a very
there's
specific
no
fruit.
banana in the fruit cup.
I mean, Parental TMI, am I right?
Come on. I've always been a fan of listen, man, if you want to take a gander at this, help yourself. I don't know what to tell you anymore. So, I mean, listen, I have to look at it. You don't. If you want to sear your memory with this, travesty. I always used to say if I got buried in an earthquake and people were digging me out, it's like someone would be digging out and goes, "Did you find anybody?" He goes, "No, it looks like a can of tomato soup exploded." Like that's how it would be, a horrifying vision for anybody. Like they would find me like and just go like, "Oh, dude, this is," and I'd go, "Just bury me back up. I don't want to be found. This is a train wreck for everybody."
This is so elaborate that you've spent so much time thinking about if an earthquake took you out that you actually know what you would say to people.
I did a sketch one time at Acme where I built. It was a side view. I had taken I cut a refrigerator door and put it onto this structure. And then there were a handful of places where my body would come out. And it would look, it looked like I was flat. It looked like you were looking at an ant farm, but it was a slice of the earth. And my body was horizontal. And it was just a light on me. And I never moved the whole monologue. It was like a 4-minute monologue. And the first line, I don't remember the whole monologue, but the first line was, I know in the dark before the lights came up on it, there was Gadoosh, and there was a radio announcement. An earthquake of 8.6 has hit Los Angeles, and then the lights came up, and I was there, and it looked like an ant farm where I was just a side view, and my first line was, "Looks like I'm not going to be at work on time today," and then there was this monologue about I'm trapped in an earthquake, and it did really well. It was really dark and really funny.
Dude, I once wrote a monologue that I then used to audition for things in college. It was easily one of the weirdest monologues ever. Where I basically it was like a what are those ads? The personal ads where you say I was single, white, and black, female, and basically I start describing a cat. I'm just basically I like to go for long walks and then end up in a litter box. And I would just it's I like to rumble in the alley. And I was describing a cat. And then at the very end I go, and by the way, common misconception, but I am not a cat. And that's how it ended. And everybody was like, this is the weirdest thing.
Weird.
Call her back. Call her back.
Just call her back so we can ask her questions about it. Wait, were you a cat?
It was
Did anybody ask about it when you returned?
No.
You should do a whole one-woman show where it's just you and they're all animal monologues. You're like, I'm in a tree. I'm in a nest. I have 3 eggs under me. I'm not a hawk.
Animal Stories with Kate Mulligan.
Animal Stories with Kate Mulligan. Again.
I feel like that gets old after the second monologue. They're like, oh, wow, she's really going to do all animals. So, okay.
Joey Steeler says that's a lot of baggage. By the way, I moved here. I moved to LA
Tell me
94.
during the 94.
Exactly 30 days to the day before the earthquake hit. So I had literally that weekend, it was like I put the final pieces on the bookcase of moving in. And then LA was like, welcome to LA, and shook. The kitchen table was upside down. I woke up on the floor like I was thrown out of the bed. Yeah.
I remember watching this. I'm not making an old joke. I was in junior high, and I remember being traumatized by seeing the pictures of the 10 was down. The 10 collapsed. The highway collapsed here.
Oh, the highway was traffic.
A cop went over it.
The 10 at Robertson, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah. You could not get in. You couldn't. Yeah, it was awful. It was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Welcome to LA.
Yeah, welcome to LA.
And still, compared to having children and doing what I did this past weekend, I would take that earthquake in a heartbeat.
Have your girls been in? I guess they were in the Shamrock Shake, weren't they? Have your girls do your girls remember any of them?
What's a Shamrock Shake? Was there a?
Was that the one that happened on St. Patrick's Day, maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
There's a couple of booms, but nothing knocked anything over or anything. No. 94 was pretty crazy.
Apparently
we're due for one, don't you think we're due for one?
Oh, we've been due for one for years and years. Apparently, one of the things that happens after a big earthquake comes is that property values go down because everybody's like, well, I'm done here. Thank you. If anybody was on the
greatest time to buy. It's the greatest time to buy.
Yeah. So, good to know.
Yeah, exactly. So we bought our house in 2016, and they had been in escrow when the quake happened. So that was the people that owned the house before us. We had to do chimney repairs from the 94 quake. Yeah, it reached his chest. There it is. It reached his chest.
Honestly, you get to a certain age where it definitely can hang low. So why not? Maybe, I mean, I'm not saying chest, but portions of it could probably.
Your chesticles. Yeah.
The chesticles.
Oh, I like that term.
Yeah.
Well, this show took a turn.
Spectacles.
So you
Oh,
said,
right out of the gate.
you talk about your horrible. So that was the weekend, the wrought iron fence with the liar. With the
Well,
liar
yeah,
person?
and feeling like, oh, full disclosure is the best way to deal with this amongst friends. I should just get this off my chest that the boys are upset. I mean, what I will say is that the 7-year-old did not admit to having pushed him,
Right.
but that's nowhere near as bad as my son actually bold-faced lying about what happened prior.
Well, Hannah lies. Hannah lies all the time. She just.
It's
lies.
really a problem. Aren't you
Yeah,
freaked
Hannah's
out by it?
And I've talked to her about it. About like, hey, listen, it's not funny.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty pissed about it.
We also are you is it both of your kids or just James?
Just James.
Just Hannah.
Yeah.
Claire's the
I mean,
opposite. Claire came up
Ours
to
are just-
me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say Jace does it, but I mean the twins don't talk yet, so I mean I don't know what my ratio is yet.
Well, let's just say they're gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're gonna lie.
Yeah, they're gonna lie.
Claire's the opposite. Claire will come and Claire kind of snitches on Hannah a lot.
Same with Neil. He
And,
also snitches on Hannah. He doesn't know her, but he's like, I can
Doesn't
feel
know.
Hannah
Trust me.
did some shady stuff.
Claire came up to me. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she was like, she goes, I was thinking about something, Dad, and it wasn't good. She goes, that's so terrible. She goes, I was thinking about something and it wasn't good, and I feel really bad about it. And then I asked her what it was, and it was something innocuous, like something so like minor. She goes, I was thinking some bad thoughts, and I didn't like it. She was crying.
Catholic school has gotten through to her.
Okay, baby, don't worry, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
She's so great. She got into Legos. Isn't it weird? It's like Hannah's 9 and she's
Legos.
already like on a trajectory of like she's gonna be trouble as a teenager. I can smell it already.
Yeah.
And Claire's like the opposite. She's like, hey, Dad. And then so we went. I took her. She and I went to the bookstore, and she's like Hannah will like do something once and then say she's a professional at it. And Claire's the opposite. Claire's like really meticulous about what she does, and she's been building Lego models, like complete Lego models, all by herself, like out of nowhere. And I think it was a present to Hannah, and Claire opened it with like 500 pieces, and all of a sudden we came in, she like had put this thing together, and I was like, oh wow. And so I kind of took her and got one, and you know, of course, you come home, and then the second one's like, well, it's not fair. How come she gets something and I didn't get it? She got something because she was good, and you're not good.
Well, there's definitely a thing that happens where the narrative has become, James, you're the one that misbehaves. Neil, you did great work. And so he started to like lean into that. So now when we get him in, like when he, like this weekend, we're like, the reason we're mad is because you're such a good boy. You are a good boy. Because I don't know. I didn't realize we were doing it, but he'd be like, I know, I'm bad. And we'd be like, no.
Hannah says that. Hannah will go, I know, I'm the worst person ever.
I know.
Do it.
And it's like,
then
it's manipulative. So you're like, yeah, you actually are.
How do you? I haven't experienced that. Well, how do you guys deal with that?
I mean, I don't know that I deal with it correctly, but obviously I've done something incorrectly to make them say that. Or even if he knows he's doing it because he knows he's going to get me to change my tune, that's also a master manipulative move. But I will be like, no, that's not true at all. You're a good boy. That's why this moment is different, because you're not being a good boy and you are a good boy.
He's gone to the Roy Cohn School of
Truly.
It's almost a no-win situation, because if you go, this is a good callback. If he said, like Hannah has said that, she's been like, I'll say like, come on, you know better. She goes, you're right. I'm the worst kid that's ever lived. And I go, well, you're not the worst. Like I do that, and so I'm kind of a jerk about it. I go. Oh, trust me, there's kids that are way worse. Like kids have burned houses down, killed people. You're not that bad, but you're not great. Like I'll say that to her, something like that. Which my wife's like, you got to stop that. And I go, well, I don't know what else to do, man. Because if you agree with them and you go, you're right, you are the worst. That's terrible. But if you go, no, it's okay. Don't worry about what you did. then that's bad too, because
Yes.
you know, you got to learn that you go out into the real world and you act like that, someone's gonna punch you in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
whether it's a literal punch in the face or whether it's a, F you moment where you don't get what you want. Like, I always talk to Hannah about trying to get, you're trying to get through this world as easily as possible. And the way to do that is to be nice to people. If you're like, please and thank you, people will go out of their way to help you.
Right.
And be part of your team. They root for you. They want you to do well. And it's an important part of life. And, if you piss people off and don't include them and you're like, we had a problem with some of the kids were grouping and not.
Right. The talent
Oh,
show
yeah, I
thing.
remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Of course. And I was like pissed about it. And I go, don't ever do that. I go include everybody, man.
What would you do if when I met Hannah, I was like, "Oh, are you the one that excluded that kid from the from the talent show? Is that you?" Can you imagine?
But again, so we read the bully book to her about like all these. It was like a book about one kid bullying another or something, and we were reading it to her like many of these. And anything in here ringing a bell? And she'd be like, "Yeah, that's exactly how the other kid acts towards me." And I was like, "I mean, it does go both ways."
Yeah, of course, of course.
It's like the kid, it's like the guy who gets the foul in the NBA. A lot of times it's the other guy. It's the first guy you didn't see hit the other guy.
Yes.
So.
It's the James in the video.
But
Also,
having all the kids over this weekend, I definitely learned, because I used to think like, oh my gosh, Hannah's so bad. And then I saw the other kids. I was like, Hannah's not that bad. Hannah's right where she needs to be. And she's smart, and she's a smart ass. But you gotta learn to, it's a weapon. You gotta learn how to use it.
Susan Rapier says, I have asked my kid to tell me how she would handle a kid that did what she did, which is
I like
great.
that.
That's great. What would you do that's great. Also, if they have a great suggestion, I'll be like, great, then we're going to use that. We with James for lying to the family, because we were basically like, we were going to go, we knew we wanted to go to this beach that was kind of far away. So we got ourselves a hotel room for Sunday night, and then we're going to go to the beach on Monday. And Dickie was like, he's lied. We're not doing it. We're going to call it off. And I'm like, the problem is that like, it's punishing Neil then too. And I said, also, any punishment we come up for him is a punishment for us, because now we're stuck in Burbank. That's 109 degrees instead of on a beach. And then we're going to lose the money on the hotel. I said, so we used to, at the program I used to work at, the summer program at Northwestern I used to work at, we would say like, when you take away from the community, you have to give back to the community. So we told James, we're like, you took away from this family by lying to us. You should never lie. So you have to find ways to give back. And it was things like when it was time for us to leave the hotel, I'm like, pack up the fridge. 4-year-old kid packing up a fridge into a cooler. Like today, he was like, he was homesick from school. And I was like, you need to go sort the laundry, take all of your clothes out of it. I can't believe she's a New Yorker. Anyway, I didn't know. The worst is when you have to come up with a punishment that you know is going to be a punishment for you. So I just avoided that. I was like, nope, we're still going to the beach.
God, Kate said something the other night to Hannah where she was like, I forget what the punishment was. Oh, she wouldn't take the medicine. She had the flu. So we get her it was unbelievably hard to get Tamiflu, by the way. I don't know if there must be a black market on Tamiflu somewhere where dudes are selling Tamiflu on a corner, because to get Tamiflu is apparently super hard. So we get some Tamiflu, and of course she won't take it. She's like, it doesn't taste good. I go, I don't care, dude. It's not about taste. This is an enjoyment. I'm not serving it with strawberries and whipped cream. Just drink it now. And I'm losing it. It's taking 45 minutes. She will not drink it. And so Kate goes, all right, that's it. I'm going to take you to the hospital. They're going to have to give it to you via a shot. And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, she sees right through this. She's not stupid. She sees this a mile away coming. So Hannah's like, so Kate goes to get dressed and like starts to go to the door, to the car, to the door. And I'm like, Hannah went in the other room. I go, how far are you going to take this, man? Are we driving in the emergency room? This is a crazy claim. You can't just claim she's not
so excited to hear how
and
this
she's
turns
pretty
out.
smart. So Hannah's like, I guess we're going to the emergency room. I was like, you little fucker. So I finally was like, I was like, what did I do? Oh, you know what I did? Here's what I did. Sat her in the corner. And I said, they were fighting. They were fighting for like 45 minutes. You're going to take this. I'm not taking that. You're going to take this. I'm not taking it. I go, that's it. I put her in the corner and I said, you sit here until you're ready to take it. And I walked away. And that was it. I walked away. Took like, I don't know, another 15 or 20 minutes or something. And then she came out. She goes, all right, I'll take it. And she drank it. But it's like anything else. You have to make it them come to you, I think.
You
I mean,
can't have, yeah.
I don't,
you can't
I don't
have
know anything.
any.
I don't know anything. I
Yeah.
swear I don't know anything. But I kind of know human nature to a degree, in the same way that when I really liked a girl back in the day and I was like, oh my gosh, I like her so much, she hated me. But the girl who I was like, I couldn't give a blank was the one you couldn't get. You know, it's like human nature is you have to make them come to you.
This explains so much about 2007 to me, doesn't it, Jason? It's like the girl that I hated was always interested in me.
I know you were going. It is kind of true. That is absolute fact. Don't you think that, though?
Yeah, it's fun, too. It's fun to be on the wrong side of that equation.
I've been on it, but we've all been on the wrong side of that equation. Like your biggest crush, like I had crushes back in the day.
Oh, don't flatter yourself. You weren't my biggest crush.
No, I wasn't saying that about you, ding dong. I was saying that about me. If you could go back in time, what I would tell myself is like, you have to treat the ones you really like the exact same way you treat the ones you couldn't care less about.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just human nature. People want what they can't have. You have to walk into an audition. You have to do the job, but you have to make them kind of think, does he really want this job? Like there's a weird vibe about the room, about like being the one that they want. It's really hard to do. And so I put him in the corner and I said, listen, I don't care anymore. I don't care. If you either take it or don't, but you're not leaving this corner until you take it. So,
dude, Jamie Kaler's coming out with a book called Neg Her Till She Begs You.
Neg her till you beg her. I don't know. It changes every day, man. I swear to God. I really was thinking about the other day that I created a Frankenstein monster, but I don't. It's so fluid, isn't it? It's such a crazy thing because as soon as you think you have it figured out, it all changes. And then you're trying to grasp straws at this of like, wait, what's happening now? And the teens are still ahead of me. She's just turned 9. I mean, when she's 13, it's going to be a train wreck.
But I really stand by the person that's going to have the most trouble with her at 13 is Kate, not you.
Maybe.
I'm telling you just real quick, who of us spent their lives as a girl? Oh, it was me only. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and speak from a place of authority here. My mother was my arch enemy from 12 until 18. Which is why I was like, I do not want to have girls. I do not want to have girls. I don't like, because truly, I just have to say that there's just something once our hormones, there was nothing. I mean, to this day, I sometimes find it hard to say something nice about the poor.
And my wife is super cautious. Like she is, we're the yin and the yang, where I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. Take a shot at it. Where my wife's like, yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
Yeah.
And so the kids will probably rebel about it.
But also, that's when like the moms too are just like, oh, look at all my collagen walking around in someone else.
Ooh.
It's true. You kidding me? That's what it is.
I don't know anymore. Hey, I was going to tell a story about, we talked about the gas station story. I was going to try to. So we were talking about how kids, they have real life effects on our lives and stuff. And I was at a gas. I don't think I've ever told Mulligan this story, Jason.
I know the story, but not on the show.
It's because I called you immediately from the car to tell you what had happened. Mulligan, I don't know if you've ever done this. I was at the gas station and I was filling my car and my phone rang. And I was like, my wife started talking, when you're like, she won't do anything I'm telling her to do. You have to talk to her. And I'm sitting there pumping the gas or whatever. And I'm like, so we end up having like a 15-minute conversation on the phone. And I'm like, you got to do what your mother says. It's a scream fest, screaming. And then, it goes on forever. She doesn't listen to me, the screaming, and then the phone just hangs up. And I'm like, I'm just furious. So I go, all right, well, I guess I got to go home and deal with this. So I start the car and I just drove away.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Have you ever done it? I was like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. I
wish I could say I'd never done it, but 100% I have.
You have?
100%.
I hadn't taken the gas pump out of the car, and I drove away. And I was like, why am I having to rev the car a little harder? And then I went gadunk and started to drive. And I looked in the little rearview mirror, and I saw the tail. It just pulled the pump off, and so I got out. Almost like
they actually have a quick release thing because people do it so often.
By the way, those quick release things, they're not cheap.
No.
Somebody's making some money on this thing.
They're also not 100% effective.
Yeah.
So I get out of the car and I just stared at it. I was like, wow. Okay. All right. So that just happened. So you think for 1 second, we'll just get back just let it go and get in the car and drive away or something. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, we're all on
camera.
Let's roll the tape. That's honestly, we're making t-shirts.
Roll the tape, Al.
So I walk in the place and I talk to the guy and I go, dude, you're not going to believe what I just did. And I pulled the pump. He looks at it. He goes, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Here, fill this form out. And I go, what, do people do this all the time? He goes, you wouldn't believe it. He goes, it happens all the time. So I go to walk back out. There's a cop. I didn't even see the cop was at the other island. And I came out and I waved. He was kind of laughing. He waved at me and I go, yep, I did it. He goes, dude, you're the first one I've never seen drive away. He goes, I only see people drive away. He goes, honestly, I'm really shocked you went into the station and told them what you did. And I said, well, obviously I'm on camera. He goes, oh, I know, but people just drive away. like your plate is clear as day. It was $1,000.
Was $1,000?
So here's what happens. I talked to the guy at the insurance company, and the dude was so kind and so funny. And so I talked to that dude for like an hour, and I'm telling him the entire story. And I go, dude, I don't know if you have kids, but kids made me do this. And he's like, how? And I tell him the whole story. I go, this is a giant argument. I go, and I drove away, and it was insane. And the guy, I talked to him for like an hour. He was rolling. He goes, you know what I'm going to do? He goes, I'm going to charge you $999 because if it's under $1,000, insurance will cover it. And so insurance covered it. And so I didn't tell you that, Jason? I never paid a penny. The dude laughed so hard at the insurance company. He goes, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this. And he goes, don't worry. It won't ding your insurance at all. And I go, dude. And he was rolling and laughing. And it was so funny. But it was like one of those days where
do you remember his name?
Like shocked that I did it. I was Mulligan. Have you only done it once?
I only did it once. No, I did it once. And I did the same thing. I mean, like, I'm one of those people that, like, if I hit a car, I leave a note. I mean, I just am like, nothing about me feels good unless I make right on a mistake I made. But it's so funny because when you were saying the thing about in the rear view mirror, I used to have a bit about like how I'm in denial at all times. I was driving to Palm Springs once and I hit a piece of metal in the middle of the freeway. I'm going 80 miles per hour, driving out to Palm Springs, hit a piece of metal. And then in my rear, like the car starts driving funny. And in my rear view mirror, I see tire flying away. And I think to myself, oh, that's too bad. Someone's lost a tire.
I've done that.
Which is like, yeah, it's like when you take your shoes off and you're like, wow, somebody's feet smell. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're in such denial.
Dude, are you writing this down?
This was a bit I used to do.
That's a super funny bit.
I used to do this bit all the time.
I can't believe somebody lost a tire. That's so funny.
Oh, that's too bad. Someone's lost a tire. But that's when you were like, when you were driving away and you're like, oh, looks like somebody forgot to take the old pump out the car.
It's all so
Jamie's gotten screwed by pull and pray 3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Okay, Claire, Hannah, and now the gas pump.
I was like, you know what? Wow, Jason, I don't think anybody's supposed to know that they purposefully got rid of a baby.
B+. I gave you a B+ on that one. Yeah. You slow played it. I liked the delivery.
It was better than anything I did.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thank you.
It's so funny. So now, I don't know, Mulligan, how are you now? Because every time I'm at the gas station now, I'm literally like, all right, let me get out, walk around the car, make sure nothing's attached.
There's so much trauma that happens at gas stations. Right? There's also a scam going on here. Are you seeing that where people are walking around with cans trying to get you to put money on a pump for them and then they just cash out of the pump. I mean, I never did it, but I don't know. There's part of me that's like, gas pumps are also where people's identities get stolen or credit cards get stolen the most because of those scanner things that they put.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, going to get gas is like a proper nightmare for me in general. But also, yeah, I don't remember what I paid to replace it.
He told me it was straight up. He goes, when it comes together, I will call you. You figure out if you want to pay or go through insurance. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
You're the first person I've ever heard having to pay. Most of the time,
He called me like maybe 3 days later. He's like, so it's about $1,000. You probably want to use insurance. And I was like, okay. So I called the insurance guy and I talked to the guy for like an hour, and we were rolling, laughing about kids. He goes, oh, dude, I got kids. Oh yeah. They'll do it to you. Those kids will do it to you. And then the dude totally duped me out and took care of me. And so it was just this crazy thing that happened where I was like, wow. So that happened. And yeah.
That's so nice. What are the things that we think parents would let us out? Like other parents would let us out? Like that's a great one. Like other parents would get it, be like, don't worry about it. I'm going to write this off for you. Like, I get it.
I will tell you. They are, to be fair, they cause most of our problems.
Yeah.
95 to 98% of our problems are caused by our children. But they are also a great icebreaker to then get someone else to help you to fix that problem. To go, my kids, and they go, dude, I totally get it. And yeah, I love it when you try to talk to someone. Like I've talked to people on the phone and I was like, dude, you're not going to believe this. So my kid, my kid lit the house on fire, whatever. And then the guy goes, yeah, I don't have kids. So that's going to be a problem. Oh. And you're like, is there someone else I could speak to maybe there who might have children?
Yeah.
Is there anybody with children who's around you that I could speak to that might grant mercy on my soul? Is there somebody?
It's actually gone in our favor a couple of times because the like with the Mexican restaurant where Dark Lord stole the nachos, they let us in early, like because our kids were crying and upsetting other people who were waiting. So they were like, "Well, come on, we have a table open. Why don't you guys come on?"
Oh, and then they're like, and then get out just as fast as you came in.
If you can just, you know what? We don't even care that your kids are stealing shit off other people's stuff.
Poor woman at the Umagami where we ate dinner the other night. She was so nice. We ended up tipping her like 25-30%. I was like, for the love of God. That table, they probably had to take that table and throw it in the trash. Like we destroyed the table so mercilessly.
Also, it's a party of what, 7, 8? And there's only 2 adults drinking.
It was 6 little girls. But we didn't drink.
So there's no parties drinking.
I mean, listen, and honestly, that was one of the hardest parts of like hosting 5 kids at a birthday party was not having a cocktail. Like we went out basically for sushi and ramen, and I got 5 kids in my car. I'm like, done. Give me olive lemonade, olive dragon lemonade, which was delicious, by the way, super good.
We aren't welcome at our sushi restaurant anymore due to an incident with noodles. They have a bunch of fish tanks, and the woman came up to me after. She goes, "Is this a noodle in a fish tank?" And I said, yeah, it does appear to be a noodle in a fish tank. I am very sorry. I will get that out of there." And so I had to fish the noodle out of there.
Who put it in there? Are you sure it was you?
It wasn't me, but it wasn't my kid. Well, no, it was them.
Let's roll the tape. Let's roll the tape.
Honestly, you should have Roy Cohn them and been like, guys, this is a very unsanitary establishment. I can't believe you have noodles in the fish.
I mean, how long is it until every human on Earth is just wearing a police camera?
Like a GoPro all the time.
Everyone's got to go. Like every motorcyclist I know has a GoPro on their helmet.
Did you guys see that? Amusement park ride crash in India?
No.
Oh my God! It happened 2 days ago, but I was like, how is there footage of this? Because it's not like that. It was like somebody was like filming the ride the moment it happened to literally crash to the ground, throwing people's bodies into the air.
Okay, so 8:24. A few minutes from the end of the show is just.
No one
about
died. No one
time
died. No one
that
died. No one died. No one
brings
died.
up, horror.
No one died. Nope. No one died. No one died. No one died. No one
Cool,
died.
'cause
Oh,
it's
nobody
super
died.
cute.
No one died.
Oh,
So it wasn't
great.
as. I'm just saying, people like you don't even need a GoPro. People always have their phones out.
Oh,
Oh.
you had a bad day. Do, 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 do.
By the way, my kids watched Alvin and the Chipmunks over the weekend, and that song
That's
is in
the
it.
song in the beginning. Yes.
And so they have been playing that nonstop.
And they're playing the chipmunk version too, aren't they? Yeah, that happened here.
Yeah, I went south really quickly. Well, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel a lot better getting this all off my chest.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, my twins are finally adjusting to preschool.
Oh, that's right. You have all 3 of your children in school away from you all day long. How's that going?
Jamie, how did I react today when I talked to you? I was pretty elated when.
I think you had an orgasm. Was that crazy, or is that just?
No, that was correct.
Did you have Did you have a chest? Did you have a chest thing going on?
Yeah, chesticles. So apparently now we've gotten to the point where they're only fighting each other and only in the afternoon.
Mm.
Hey, that's great.
Yep.
Should
Logan is
go live during one of their fights. Can we go live for their fights?
Oh, I have a ton of footage of them fighting because you and I were going to take bets on it. Where we were going to do Thursday night toddler.
Did we tell you this?
Thursday night toddler fights. We were going to call it.
We wanted to do Thursday night toddler fights and have guys bet on it.
Okay.
Wait, you're saying it? Okay, that was a negative connotation. Like it's
yeah, it was because honestly, if dog fighting's illegal, I'm fairly confident toddler fighting.
But I didn't put them up to the fighting. These are the natural fights, and I just put them, and you bet on the winner. These are natural occurrences.
Fair enough.
I mean, listen. So the dogs are fighting because the people are making them fight.
Yes.
Are putting them in a pit together. This fight's naturally. You couldn't stop this fight if you wanted to. Okay. So instead, go the other way, enjoy it,
money on it. Okay.
And have in bet on it. Yeah.
Okay. Don't turn on James. I'll tell you that.
They fight because we have 2 Paw Patrol fire trucks, and sometimes they're supposed to share them, and sometimes Logan will take both fire trucks.
Okay.
And Anthony wants a fire truck, so then they get into a fight. I can't stop that. That's nature.
Yeah. So we bet on it.
Oh, okay. And does anybody ever bet on anyone that's not the Dark Lord? Because my bet would be on the Dark Lord.
If physical strength, he is not. He is not. It's Logan.
Oh, well, then he's not the Dark Lord.
And there's odds. You got to look at the leaders.
Voldemort is the most powerful.
The Dark Lord sometimes is a 3-1 favorite, and so you can bet the underdog for big money. Is a lot.
He's a cerebral assassin. He outsmarts Logan quite often. But let's face it, if Voldemort and Hagrid got into fisticuffs, Hagrid takes him every time.
Not a chance. What are you talking about? He uses Avada Kedavra like it's hello and goodbye.
Exactly, and that's what the Dark Lord would have used. But pure strength, Hagrid would crush him.
But okay. That's not how Voldemort works. Anyway, he doesn't. There's no.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I don't want to be a jerk about this, but Harry Potter, not real. It's not a real thing.
How?
But for Mulligan in those moments,
dare you?
I know.
How
Listen,
very dare you?
It's
and mostly I said all of that to get her going.
No
story. Hey, I'll tell you this. So we're trying to get my daughter to read more.
Yeah.
Do you guys do this? I'm trying to get her to read. So I decided maybe I should stop watching so much television and I should read. And that when we read, maybe we'll read. Yeah, that's I kind of nap. So I went to the bookstore and I got some books. I told you guys before that in my 30s I went back and I read a lot of the classics like Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Grapes of Wrath.
Please don't swear.
I'm going back and I'm reading some more because it also when I write, I'm trying to get motivated to write some more. Whenever I write, I read a lot and it makes me write better. Do you guys do that ever?
No.
So if I'm trying to like be proactive and write, like when I wrote the last album that I did, which almost destroyed me, I was reading a lot because when I read, I write better.
Okay.
Like anytime you see a person who's a great novelist, or even like when Anthony Bourdain was a writer or whatever.
Yeah.
These people read a lot. It's like people who write great screenplays have seen a lot of movies. They typically have. So I've been trying to read, and so I picked a book to read yesterday, and I've started it, and I love it. It's also a movie, American Psycho.
Oh, good for you. Wait, that's so funny.
Has anyone out there read it? Bret Easton Ellis. I really like Bret Easton Ellis. He wrote Bright Lights, Big City. He wrote Less Than Zero. So American Psycho is a really famous book before Christian Bale played the part in the movie.
So funny. The woman that wrote the screenplay for it, I was just listening to this podcast, and she was in a cult as a child. She was in the Mel Lyman family cult. But she's the screenwriter for American Psycho. That's so funny. That's the book you're reading.
That's so funny. I think it's a Mary Herron directed it. I want to say Mary.
Yeah, it was but it was Herron. It was like women directed and like wrote that movie.
It was a woman who directed American Psycho.
Yeah. I gotta look it up now.
I want to read the book because I love Bright Lights, Big City, and I liked Less Than Zero as well. I just and it's all about the 80s. So I'm a couple chapters in, and it's all about the 80s, and I'm like, wow, nothing's changed. It's all he could have written it this week, and it would have been still kind of vibrant. There's not as much internet, but there's still like the same, like it's rich guys in New York kind of talking about society. It's really interesting. So I'm kind of digging it. So I'm trying to go back because I'm trying to get my kids to read. So I am specifically like going, all right, it's reading time. We're all going to read for like an hour or whatever.
Yeah, that's great.
She's in 4th grade, so she's starting to read a lot. And we're trying to because although I tried to get her to read Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I tried to read it with her, and she was like, I couldn't get through it. She's watched every movie already. It took like 2 weeks, her and her friends, and they watched every effing Harry Potter without reading the books. I wanted her to read them first, but not
the books are actually like, it's so funny. Like the books are actually so much better than the movies, unless you do it in the other order.
I read one of the books. I was dating. Actually, I asked a girl out years ago, and she for some reason, and she wasn't 14. She was like 35 years old at the time, whatever.
Okay. Well, the lady does protest.
She really liked Harry Potter. And so she dared me to read one of the books. And so I read a Harry Potter book. And she thought it, and I was like, that's a really good book. It was a really good book.
The only roadblock in those books, and if you've seen the movies, you know it, is the way Hermione is spelled is a real roadblock when you're starting.
It's a real problem. Yeah, Hermione.
I'm like, Hermione? Well, Hermione. Oh, God. That's so funny.
I forget because I didn't love reading when I was younger. I kind of fought through it. I don't know. I would get tired when I read. I think one of my eyes was off or something, and I didn't get a headache, and I had a concussion. Senior in high school, I got knocked the F out playing soccer. And I had a ringing in my head for like the whole senior year.
Oh, geez. That's awful.
And I didn't read much. I was like, and then by the time I got to college, I was pretty drinking heavily. And so I don't think I read much then. So back in my 30s, I read, but now I'm starting to read. So I was really enjoying kind of reading American Psycho. And I got some other book. I forget, The Devil. It's about the World's Fair in Chicago.
Oh, Devil in the White City.
I haven't read it. Did you read it?
It's amazing.
I'm going to start that. So I bought 2 books and I'm going to start reading them.
It's scary.
That one I can't wait to read.
That one I wish. It's amazing. Yeah.
Are you a big reader, Mulligan?
I mean, I wish I was. It's like a trait I wish I had, but I found video games at 38 years old, and that's like, if I have free time now, I'll go play.
I wish I read more. It's not. I like movies. Too. I like visual arts. Even today, I flipped on Turner Classic, like Spinal Tap was on.
We watched that last night on Turner Classic.
I recorded it, so I've been watching it, and it was like, it's as funny today as it ever was. You're like, oh, dude. Oh,
Michael McKean laughs in every single talking head with those guys. Like in the garden, every single question Rob Reiner asks him, Michael McKean laughs at it. It's so funny to me. I love when people can't keep it together.
Might have been the first mockumentary of all time.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
I can't think of anything before it.
Yeah. What I didn't know, which I heard from Ben Mankiewicz, was that I was like, holy cow, those guys sat down and wrote these songs. They did, and it was a sketch they had done on a failed pilot from like 6 years earlier.
Oh,
so
really?
They out and wrote these crazy ass songs like Big Bottoms or whatever because it's too in depth. Where you're like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, they also toured. like legit toured after the movie came out.
Oh,
legit
after,
As
yeah.
a band, they did.
Oh no, they're
Yes.
still a huge band, and there was a giant lawsuit where they made because they got ripped off. Whoever owned it made millions and millions of dollars, and then
You can't
they
dust for
get
vomit.
sued. You can't dust for vomit, dude. That's still my. It's so funny because that was the line I was going to talk about. Is like, well, it's Harry Shearer goes, well, he choked on vomit, and then Christopher Guest chimes in. I mean, it wasn't his vomit, but you can't dust for.
But you can't dust
And
for
the guy
vomit.
goes, and the other drummer was in a bizarre. He died in a bizarre gardening accident.
Yes.
So fucking gold. It's literally still
Oh, it holds up.
top 5 comedies of all time for me. Animal House, that, Groundhog Day. There's a handful, but Spinal Tap is still to this day. I can watch it over and over and over again. It's pretty great.
So yeah, spontaneous combustion. Oh my god.
It's so old. It's so old. I actually saw it in college in the first screening, and when it first came out, and people were like, they thought it was everyone thought it was a real band. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's so funny. Troy
And there
gives
was
it an
no
11
internet.
out of 10.
There was no internet then, so it was all word
Yeah.
of mouth, and you're like,
Yeah.
crazy band. Have you ever heard of Spinal Tap? And then people would be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I remember Shark Sandwich.
Yeah.
The review for which was just 2 words: shit sandwich. Oh,
Yeah.
you can write that. That's not true. You didn't write that.
Dude, I think it's so funny too, like, because now people are like, have you seen Spinal Tap? And then they'll be like, what? No. And then you say, like, oh, it's the guy from Best in Show. It's the guy from Waiting for, like, you could go back and like give them Christopher Guest, but like by the movies that they would know him by. But back then, I'm sure I would have been deeply confused watching it and been like, wait, are they real?
Yeah.
Like,
But they're so good. They play it so to the
straight,
bone.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's so blind. It's that whole it goes to 11 bit where he's like talking. He plays it so straight of like, I'm so confused. But this one goes to 11, and Rob Reiner's
right.
like, but wouldn't the power would be the exact same, but in this one you would just go to 10. And he goes,
just go to 10.
but this one goes to 11. Like he plays it so dead
Yes.
straight.
Yes. Oh my
So-
God.
Well, Rob Reiner, Christopher Guest directed the other ones, but Rob Reiner directed Spinal Tap to Rob
Oh,
Reiner.
what a gift.
And it was his first movie he ever directed with Spinal Tap.
No way.
Wow, really?
I didn't know that.
Good. The guy Meathead you think about that era, it's the 80s. All in the Family has wrapped. He's done. He's like going around Hollywood. He goes to make this mockumentary and he makes Spinal Tap. And there's no internet. And it's like, it was kind of word of mouth. It just kind of blew up. And people were like, hey, have you seen this documentary about this band Spinal Tap? Like it wasn't, there was no internet. You didn't know anything. And he just walked into these things cold. It was such I don't know.
Oh my God, this is genius. Troy says that the IMDb page actually has its rating out of 11 stars. That's
so cool.
so good. I did not realize when Troy was saying 11 out of 10. Of course, it's the amp thing.
He died. Quit messing my heart. No. He goes, we were in a band called The Originals, but then we found out there was another band across town, The Originals. So we were the new Originals, but then they became the regulars, and then we became the Thamesmen. Stop dragging my heart. No. And Ed Begley Jr.'s on the drum. It's gold. Fucking gold. It's
Oh my God.
seriously.
7 point down out of 11. Who notices that?
You know what? I'm gonna go watch it. I have it recorded.
Yeah, go.
Listen, it's 8:38. I gotta go put kids to bed. I gotta get up in the morning. Honestly, I tell you, if everyone's like, "Who's your guest this week?" We don't have a guest. Well, this is it. I honestly like doing it this way. Super fun. And I guess this is kind of a precursor to what we're gonna do on stage. Pretty much. I think the bits might be a little more polished, but
no, we're just gonna talk about Spinal Tap. We're just gonna do Spinal Tap. It's the whole time.
Hey, seriously though, Mulligan, I don't know if you wrote those down, but you had like 3 or 4 bits tonight that are stage bits that you need to write down.
Kayla, the car thing was a bit I used to do all the time.
You told you that like literally four
never
times.
What was the other bit she said? She had another bit that I thought was super funny. I don't know. I have to go watch this.
Well, anyway, listen.
She's not gonna rewatch this.
I've never watched. I've never watched anybody else's. I listened to one Malcolm Gladwell podcast one time.
Yeah.
Kind of good. I'm a big Gladwell fan.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, "Well, you listen to pod." I go, "I don't listen to any podcast. I kind of talk and
No, it's also there's nothing. I don't. If you guys want me to keep feeling good, I don't think it's good for me to go back and watch this. For me, I don't know. Like even the clip you use from the show that's now advertising the Sayer show. I'm like, I hate myself.
Yeah. It's the only clip he has. You got to give him another clip.
Well, that's why we need to film this show, so I have other clips. I have nothing.
Well, I need to lose about 90 pounds too.
All right, we need to wrap this thing.
Goodbye.
8:40. Jason, somebody take us out, will you, please?
Yes, we were going to be, as they said, live in Sayre, Pennsylvania on October 14th and 15th at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets currently at BradfordCountyMovies.com. You can catch us live here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and wherever else you get your podcasts every Monday and Thursday on iTunes.
And the passwords to those accounts are what, Jason?
By the way, huge thanks to all you guys who come and share the show and add your 2 cents. The jokes make me laugh. So honestly, I come into the show usually frustrated and angry, and I want to put my fist through a wall. And by the end of the joke, whether it's Susan or narcolepsy or Maureen or whoever cracking jokes, you guys make me laugh so hard. So thank you for coming and being part of it. And we're doing Larry the Cable Guy's Sirius XM show. We have actually a pretty funny bit that we're doing a bit on Larry the Cable Guy's show this Friday.
We're live with Mater this week.
Yeah, we're gonna hang with Mater. We got a little bit we're gonna do on the show.
So fun.
I got nothing else. Anybody?
No.
Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging. And honestly, it takes a village. And now, I mean, I think we've learned how not to parent. That's what the name of the show should really be: is how not to raise children.
Yeah.
Spinal Tap 2 is coming out. That's not true, says Schrader.
He posted a link, an MSNBC link that says that it is.
How can that be anything other than disappointing? Am I the only one that thinks that just leave?
Well, I don't. Maybe, but honestly, with if Michael McKee and Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer are doing it, my guess is they're gonna play it like if you played it like you were the Rolling Stones and you were in your 70s and you were still that band trying to tour the world. It could be super funny. Could be super funny. Like that was their big comeback tour in that one, but this one.
I get the premise, but man, I don't know.
There's a lot of jokes like where they're sipping tea after they're,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of basically it would be every old man joke in the book.
And the book, yeah.
Who knows? I mean, Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman. I mean, those guys are pretty funny.
No, they're amazing. A Mighty Wind, I even loved. Are you kidding me?
I actually really liked the Mighty Wind.
I loved the Mighty
Wind. Was super funny.
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. All right, listen, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time here in the Parents Lounge.